The Sofyan Amrabat of Morocco is a shadow of himself at Manchester United. Welcome to the United Hotspot. Here is the player focus, and today we keep it on one of our few African players in the squad, Sofyan Amrabat, who, according to certain reports that are emerging, is being linked to a return to Fiorentina when his loan spell ends. Now, there has been a story that came out earlier on today by a source who I will rate. It's a credible, fairly credible, if you would call it. But would it surprise you to hear that Amrabat will be headed back to Fiorentina after his loan spell is done at the end of the season? Honestly, we waited for Amrabat like the Christians do wait the return of Jesus, probably. I mean, United supporters were all praying, when does Amrabat come in? We need a backup for Casemiro. And he eventually came on the final day of the transfer window in the summer, and we were all happy. I don't even know where they got the money. Someone was saying that probably they they cut player wages and all to put together funds to bring Amrabat. Well, that's a joke, really. But United was that broke as we tried to pursue so many players in the summer. So Amrabat comes in. We had to pay 10 million, 10 million euros, and had to commit with an option of buying him for about 22 million pounds at the end in the summer. Now, that was not a clause that we're forced on. I mean, it's not like we must sign him. If things don't go well for him, we are free not to sign him. But honestly, let's reflect on how Amrabat has been. And I know United supporters, we are lenient, we are soft, we do want to think for players, to defend them. And that's one of the problems we've had for the longest time. I think we are all like John Matta and Richard Arnold. We all get sentimental with these players. We love them, even when they are performing. We want to create excuses for them and why they are not performing. But guy, you don't pay 10 million for a player and for on loan, and they don't perform. So Amrabat has played about 17 games for Man United since he came in the summer. 2 in the EFL Cup. He has played 5 in the Champions League, and the rest of them have been mostly in the Premier League. And he's not expected to score or assist, probably, but let's judge by the performances he has put on. Honestly, Amrabat has been below average. We bought the Amrabat we see playing for Morocco now in the Africa Cup of Nations, fighting and winning every ball, not putting a pass wrong. But we got a whole different Amrabat. In fact, these two, the Amrabat of Morocco and the Amrabat of Manchester United, if they met, they would not recognize each other. They wouldn't. They would just say, "Who are you?" I'm Amrabat. Sofyan Amrabat. Oh, really? How? No, 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 no. They would not recognize each other. That's how the difference between the two is. Because Amrabat for Morocco, he has played all the games so far in the AFCON, and he hasn't dropped a ball. He hasn't put a foot wrong. At Manchester United, he struggles. And don't you tell me about levels. Honestly, the levels of football I see in the AFCON right now are not so different from what we've seen even in the Premier League. Honestly, the intensity, the physique, African players have stepped up their game. They fight for every ball. I was seeing the game between Mauritania and Cape Verde, and I'm thinking, are these African national teams playing? So the levels are up there. The difference between African and European football is no longer day and night. Let's be honest. So you won't tell me that the levels that Amrabat is facing in the Premier League are way below the levels of the AFCON. I won't believe it. I won't believe it because he played even in the World Cup and reached the semi-finals, playing with the best players in the world. So I won't believe that. So it's not about the levels. Maybe I would listen if you say it's the levels of the players around him, his teammates at Manchester United. But even then, even when he had Casemiro close to him, even when he has played with Kobe Maino, his levels for me are wanting. He doesn't seem to be confident playing for Manchester United. And these are not the players we need. And so for me, honestly, if you ask me, even before the rumors came out, I've already made my decision. I was disappointed by Amrabat, and I won't give excuses that he came with an injury. These are things I know some of you will comment in the comment section. Guys, don't talk about Amrabat. He came injured. What business were we having paying 10 million for a player who is injured? But also, it's not our fault. For us, all we want to see as fans is a signing makes sense. Is Amrabat making sense to you? When we are rebuilding, should we be spending a further 12 million pounds to sign him on a permanent? Should we? Is it worth it? No, we are still here talking about. Imagine we have been spending money for years and years. We've spent money on Morgan Schneiderlin. We've spent money on Casemiro. We spent money on Amrabat. We have spent so much money on a defensive midfielder, a holding midfielder. Yet all along, the man above was creating one from within in Kobe Maino, who we are paying only £10,000, just recently increased to £20,000 per week. Can you imagine? So what does that show you? That maybe Ineos and their plan makes sense. Forget about spending crazy amounts of money on to sign players on loan, because these people have known the money is there from the Glazers. They will just go and spend. Where is the value for money? I'm putting this to you. Has Amrabat given us value for money? Pardon? Louder, the guys at the back didn't hear you. Has Amrabat given us value for money? Yes. Thank you. No, he hasn't. So let him go back to Fiorentina. One love, no hard feelings, whether he came injured, whether he came not motivated. This is not what we waited for all along. We signed we signed Mason Mount. We signed who else did we sign in the summer? We signed Mount. We signed Hoyland. Then we signed Onana, and then we are praying. Oh God, the most important position is the backup for Casemiro. This guy was not even when Casemiro was injured. Amrabat was struggling to establish himself as a starter when we had all these injuries. Now that all these players are back, do you expect him to play? Hmm? So he plays well for Morocco. He's confident. He's a boss in the squad. But alongside Scott McTominay and all these bunches of nobodies around him, he struggles. He fails to play football. So what should we do? So these are the things Omar Berada is here to change. We are not going to be wasting money on players who are not good enough just for them to have a beautiful CV and saying, yeah, I played for United. Yeah, yes, you played for United, but what did you do? Yeah, you are not good enough. So Amrabat, no hard feelings. You are an African boy. At times, Moroccans have not wanted to identify as Africans. By the way, we've had, but they play in the Afcon. But somehow they keep applying to be, I think, admitted into the European Union. I hear, but since you're playing in the Afcon, you're African. But that, for me, I'm not biased like that. It's not about you're African. You're a Manchester United player, African or not. You're a Manchester United player, and I should support you if you are performing. If you're not, and we spent so much money on you, unfortunately, the nature of the game today is so harsh. There is no time, Amrabat. Nothing against you, humble lad. Nice jersey at Old Trafford. I saw in the home dressing room. I saw his jersey, one of the last ones toward the exit for the entrance. And yeah, you're a good lad. We love you, but no, we are not keeping you on a permanent. So for me, that's my verdict. Amrabat, back to sender. Bye bye. My name is Webb. Subscribe. This is the United Hotspot.